Hi and welcome to another video. The weather has been absolutely appalling recently, and it really has been difficult to get anywhere near the permissions. So I've come to a piece of grassland where I've got permission. This is a modern activity area, the kind of thing that really coin shooters and people like that use a lot in the States. But I wanted to get out and quickly make a short video today, just as a thank you. This is a personal thank you video to my subscribers, because it's you people that have helped me get this off the ground and shown me some early support, and I'm really grateful for that, so thanks very much. So what we're going to do today, well, we're going to play a little game. We haven't got long, but the little game is called Wrong Coil, because in theory this thing shouldn't really be the right coil for trashy places with modern stuff all over it, and that's exactly why I want to give it a go and see what happens, and just see how it copes. I think it'll really quite a bit of discrim, but we'll see what happens as we go along. So let's get cracking. Earphones out today because of where I am. I'm not going to bother anybody, so I'm just going to let you hear everything and come on the journey with me. Okay, we're starting off in the jewellery mode with 2 sensitivity bars down. That's quite discriminating, but I think it's going to be necessary for where we are, so let's see how we get on. Okay, see what you make of this. Steady mid-tones on that, tiny crackle on the iron audio. I'm going to dig it. It's a tiny bit of tin, probably off of a Coke can or something. That's the sort of thing you typically are going to get around here. You know, it's just one of those things. Now this is exactly the kind of thing I was expecting to get with this today. Something's trying to break through. Iron audio. I'm not digging that, not with this coil, not in a place like this full of trash. But that's a good example of how the machine's really trying to work out what's there. Most Garrett 400i users would probably call that a no dig. Numbers are all over the place. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's trash. I'm leaving that where it is. I've just quickly stuck it in all metal to give you an idea of why a large coil is going to struggle in an area like this. Have a listen. It's a bit junky, isn't it? Okay, here's an intriguing one. Listen to all the iron, and this one's picked it out. That's holding the 80s. That's 4 bars. Iron audio isn't going to work on all metal. So you dig the clean target. The one thing I will say about all metal in a place like this is if you're wearing headphones, or even if you're not, can you tolerate all that buzzing? Because it's immense. And to be honest, it's not like a farm field where you need to be learning it. I know that there's, oh look at that, terrible, it's falling apart. I have to be very careful I put that back together. Yeah, it's not like it's not really like farmland. Some depth on this one. Some kind of mucky fitting that's had its head smashed in. I dare say that's been hammered by something. It certainly looks like it. It's got a nice little circle at the front there. Would have gone on something or over it, but the top's all splodged. So I think something gave it a darn good wallop at some point in time. But yeah, I mean, again, that's really heavy. I think that might be old and lead. It looks like lead actually. I think that's an old lead fitting. But it really picked that out really well amongst the iron. So you can use these bigger coils in amongst the iron. They will get stuff out. Yeah, interesting. Okay, just some little modern washer thingy. Nothing special, I'm afraid. But interesting, that one. Really interesting. It did need a hole digging, but it wasn't that far from the surface. But actually, it was at the front of the hole. I find the larger coils harder to pinpoint, and I'll be honest about that. They do take some learning. That one really suggested that it was actually further back, and I needed to go further back to dig. And it wasn't. It was exactly where I thought it was when I was swinging it, and the pinpointer seemed to fool me. Does anybody else have that problem with large coils? Be interested to know. Okay, so why am I having so much trouble pinpointing with a large tornado coil? Let's have a look, shall we, and see if we can work it out on the old upturned tea tray. Okay, here we are again with the state-of-the-art upturned tea tray. Silver sixpence. Big old copper. Watch what happens when I try and pinpoint a piece of iron or steel. Same thing happens with a UK penny. Okay, so I think I get what the problem is. That's quite a long way away. There's a circumference of the coil, and that is quite a long way away. So when you've got the coil over the target and you're getting the pinpoint on your good target, I think it's all too easy as you move away to start your dig at the back of the coil, and you're actually quite a long way away, and then it's quite easy to leave it in the front of the plug. I'm pretty sure that's what I've been doing. But what I did find really interesting there, something I didn't know, that targets with some junk in them and steel and things like that, they actually work with the iron audio and pinpoint off the iron audio, or so it seems. Yeah, interesting that, because obviously if you've got a good target near to something like that, it could be a problem. That was interesting. I think what I've been doing there is just the sheer size of the coil. When the good target's been in the centre, I've been taking the spade right to the back of the coil, and it's too far from the target because it's a big coil, and therefore often the target's been in the front of the plug. I think that's what I'm doing. Interesting to note there though that the bad stuff actually comes off the front and the back of the coil, kind of works like the iron audio. So that got me thinking, where do you get the pinpoint if you put the steel under the silver sixpence? Oh, interesting. So with the steel product underneath the silver sixpence, it did seem to take over and kind of fool the pinpoint a bit and take it more front and back than the middle. I don't know if you noticed there when I did the sweep overs as well with the iron audio on, but clearly the 400i and the Nell Tornado were really trying to find that sixpence. When the swing was near the front of the coil, the iron audio just took over, and you wouldn't dig that in a month of Sundays. But when I moved it forward into the middle, it was predominant good tone and really steady numbers with just a faint crackle. And this is why I always say, you know, it's up to the person out in the field. It's really up to you. If you want to ignore every single slight crackle, every single one like that, well, you know, fair enough. I understand why. A lot of the time it's rubbish, but occasionally it could be something good sitting very close to iron. That just proves it. The choice is yours, really, isn't it? '80s all the way. Iron audio. Not a peep. Pinpoint. Small. All right. I have a feeling we probably need to go back nearer the surface for this one. Yeah, we do. So there you go. That was the target all day long, whatever this is. And even with a big call like the Nell Tornado, if you're patient, you can do it. Yes, it was very close to the surface indeed, and I think it kind of fell through when I was digging. Look at that. Oh, the spoils of metal detecting. Look at that. It's an English 1p. They told me these machines would pay for themselves. Taking a bit longer than I thought though. I can see now why American park hunters quite often use the pinpointer before they dig. You're getting a lot of stuff near the surface in junky, more modern areas. So there was a lesson learned for me there. I dug a plug, I didn't need to dig. I could have probably picked that up from about the first 2 inches with the trowel and made less of a mess. So you learn all the time in this this hobby. I don't often do places like this, but yeah, round here, a lot of the targets, you know, when you are coin shooting, as they say, don't need to dig a hole. Get your probe out first, have a quick look around the surface and see if it's worth digging a hole. Probably isn't. Double dinging like mad. Iron audio. Not touching it. This is in the 60s, mid 60s. Now, what have we learnt? It's shallow. It's an urban area. Put the machine out the way. There we are. That's better. You see? No need to dig a hole for a fag packet. For the American viewers, a fag packet is a cigarette packet. Let me make that quite clear. That could be quite confusing. Okay, it's raining again and I've had enough. But I enjoyed that. It was a good little test. So, big coil in a trashy area. Yeah, not too bad. I can see why people like a smaller coil. And you can also appreciate now why you get a kind of middle of the road coil when you buy a metal detector and it comes new in the box. They're not daft, are they, the manufacturers? There's no point putting a whacking great big coil on if you're going to come to places like this, and there's no point selling it with just a tiny little sniper coil if you end up being somebody who's going to go pasture hunting in the UK or whatever. So they give you an all-round middle of the road job, and then it's up to you if you want to try and enhance the performance with different coils afterwards. But yeah, I mean, I was quite impressed that we got a few bits and bobs out there, and I found a penny. Yes. So I've made a profit today. Well, actually, I'll probably use more battery life than a penny, so okay. Thanks for watching. This one's for my early subscribers. Thanks for giving me a leg up. Thanks for the early support. I really appreciate it. What do you think about coils and different sizes? Post some comments down below and let's talk about the hobby. Cheers.